Ashton Point apartment complex is flooded. Someone was trying to get from there to here and simply can't make it because of the waters. Well, anyway, you shouldn't be on the roads anyway. That is certainly what the emergency officials are saying. And let me tell you why. Right now, we have more than 20,000 customers, well over that, without power right now. That also means that you're not going to have working stoplights. The road conditions are just simply not suited to be driven on. Also, our Beaufort Police Department, they're not responding to calls right now. Neither is Hilton Head Island Fire and Rescue, neither is Hardyville. So you want to certainly keep that in mind. Also, don't forget, so far right now, the McTier Bridge is closed.
This is the area that is under the tornado warning, so it is just to the north of Beaufort, so right along the county, over the water, and into parts of Colleton County. And this is an area right now that is just getting drenched with really heavy rain. So if there is a tornado out there over the water and it's moving onto land, you won't be able to see it. It is wrapped in rain. But what we're thinking is it is now moving onto land, and it is moving fast. It is moving to the northwest at about 60 miles per hour, so it's headed toward Hendersonville at about 12:35, and then it's headed toward Hampton at 12:57.
We are out here at Coligny Beach right now. We are just about 30 minutes away from high tide, but as you can see, the waves are already very high. The water has come all the way up to the pier. This is right here, the dunes on Coligny Beach, and the waves are washing all the way up. And we still have just about 30 minutes until high tide. So we're not quite sure how far the water is going to go.
At the storm surge warning in effect up and down the coast of Georgia and South Carolina, remember the prediction is 4 to 6 feet. High tide at Fort Pulaski is at 12:37, and in Beaufort it is at 1:30. So we're not even at peak yet. So major flooding expected up until about 3 o'clock this afternoon.
We're taking a live picture from our Dozier Law Cam right now. You see it's kind of windy out there right now. The camera is shaking. That is the Talmadge Bridge, which is of course closed until further notice. It's just too dangerous to be on a bridge that high right now.
It's not too deep at this point, as you can see, but this whole area has just literally filled with water since we got here. I want to point out something to all of the folks here. Getting a little bit deeper, probably about 4 or 5 inches here. This big log that's sitting here, and it looks like there's some other debris over here. There's another log right here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but literally since we've been here, it started out, it was coming through here. Now it's covering this entire walkway as I walk up. This whole area has just, been battered with rain for hours at this point. And this is what we're seeing.
Latest tide gauge for Pulaski shows about 11.5 in terms of the mean low water. Now that's about a foot away from the record. Getting reports as well of water coming up and over Tybee Island at 2nd and Butler. Also water coming up in towards the Savannah River, kind of coming up in that barrier. So again, water is very high out there.
I'm over at Hudson's here as Stassi pulls the camera up so you can see. She was showing you the water down there because that's exactly what we are now surrounded by at Hudson's. Famous restaurant, obviously, all these docks and area right on the water. This entire area flooded before, and already as high tide is coming in, it is significantly flooded again. We were expecting to be able to go down to the concrete area and the dock over there. We can't even reach that area. And if you keep going with me, as Stassi's going to follow me this way, you're also going to see that obviously damage to the dock over here. All the docks on the other side were the ones that actually got destroyed during Matthew. Now more damage to this dock, and this entire area, which is usually a parking lot, is now instead a lake as we go along. You can see the docks and how high that is, already above many of the rungs over there. The Skull Creek Boathouse is just past us there, and that's already almost all the way to the top of the ramp as we go. But this is the same, and what I'm doing is I'm being aware of the alligators, which are actually in this water. There is an alligator in this water that hangs around, but this is what Hudson's looks like already under the door. It's right to that level. We weren't even able to see the new dock yet. We're going to go over there in just a minute, but wanted to show you exactly what's happening here. So Chris was talking about the high tide and the storm surge. We're seeing it firsthand right now.
So this whole walkway has now filled in with water, and when we came about half an hour ago, it was not yet filled. It looks like it might be subsiding a little bit. It's hard to tell, but again, this whole walkway area is filled with water. Since we were here just about half an hour ago. This again is what officials warned everybody about. They said we could have this flash flooding and some kind of an issue because of surge and high tide. And we really have been pounded with rain here in the last half an hour.
Even though the tide gauge data reflected that we got less water than Matthew, it is apparent that we actually got a significant worse effect from Irma than we did from Matthew. So I'm getting reports of people whose homes did not flood Matthew that flooded for Irma, and not just by a little bit, by a good bit. So we haven't had an opportunity to assess everything yet. In fact, the waters are just now receding. Highway 80 is shut down in both directions. It is going to remain shut down based on the conversation I just had with the director of SEMA, Dennis Jones, until the Department of Transportation can inspect the bridges. We're hoping that can happen soon.
Look at the mailbox. If I was to walk to that mailbox and stand there, that water would come at least to my thighs. It's really, really high.
I'm over here at Palmetto Bay Marina. Palmetto Bay Marina, which of course was hit so hard during Hurricane Matthew, once again facing a new set of challenges. I'm actually standing in the parking lot, or what used to be the parking lot of the marina and the entire area. What you see here is the Broad Creek, which has now entered the entire area. You can see this car here, which is completely overcome with water. As the high tide came in, the water kept coming as well. Just to get here, to walk through the entrance, I had to walk through waist deep water just to carry it. A lot of folks with trucks were trying to get through and couldn't do it.
I want to show you a couple pictures from Tybee Island. We're going to begin with a picture, and this is a neighborhood that is basically right across from Huckapoo's on Highway 80. So that little area of, I don't know if you still call that area the back river, but this is, you're seeing their yard inundated by water. And then the next picture, you see their dock is, not visible anymore. You see the boat launch area way out in the distance there. Hopefully their dock will still be there when the water recedes.
This is breaking from Holly Bounds in the Low Country. She says right now a family of 7 is trapped in their Beaufort home where the water continues to rise. Burton Fire and Beaufort Water Rescue are on the way right now to try to help that family get to a drier place. And this is on Creekmore Road. Firefighters tell Holly that the road is not passable for any cars.
We are now on Whitmarsh Island, and what you're looking at, where you're getting ready to look at, is Richardson Creek. Now we're slowly moving forward for you. Can't move forward too much, but as you can see, this is Richardson Creek that has spilled over onto Juanita Street here on Whitmarsh Island.
We would ask, it's not too early, I don't think, to ask our boaters that when the storm subsides and it's clear again, to stay off the water, because we've seen there have been docks damaged and there'll be vessels that are underwater, and that's just another hazard. Also, if you're in a boat and you're looking at damage and there's water in homes, your wake from your boats as a sightseer could cause more damage to those homes, and we do not need that.
You see where it goes from red to green. This is letting us know that there's possibly rotation within this area. So this is right along Highway 21. But again, once these tornadoes that do form, if in fact there is a tornado, it's over land and it will fall apart fairly quickly. But still, you need to make sure that you do get inside, get to an interior location, away from windows, and make sure you do have something to protect your head.
Butterbean Beach is closed at this hour due to rising waters on the Skidaway River. You can see the water level on the high water marker. I think that's coming up here in this video. Yeah.
Meantime, Savannah City Golf Course has a lot of water as well. I want to show you the video out at Bacon Park Golf Course. The entrance is blocked. A creek that runs through it has actually overflown and has put a whole bunch of new water hazards on the course.
So we want to talk about some of the power outages that we're seeing in this area and really beyond. I think one of the big stories here, Tina, and this is a live look at the Georgia power outage map right now, statewide, there are 572,000 customers that are without power right now in the Georgia Power coverage area.
Right now we have on the phone with us Ashley West from Georgia Power. So Ashley, thank you for being with us. Can you actually give us some information in terms of confirming the number of people in Chatham County without power?
Now, in the coastal area as a whole, as of right now, I'm seeing 187,000 customers are out of power due to the storm and this weather that we're actually dealing with at the moment.
News 3's Joanne Merrigan is live on River Street at the Hyatt Regency.
Yeah, she's going to tell us how it's looking out there now.
Yes, hello, Benedino. As you said, we are in River Street. I'm at the Hyatt Regency. This is the banquet facility, and several feet of water in front, as you can see. And there's also, several inches of water, excuse me. There's also several inches of water inside this building. This, again, just shows kind of what we were up against today with this weather, the high tide, all the rain, and the surge itself.
As those outer bands of Tropical Storm Irma continue to move through the low country, we're beginning to see exactly what has become of this storm. And something that we're beginning to see is a tree is down on top of a power line. This is here at Pinckney Colony Road here in Bluffton.
We know you're curious and you want to see what's happening, but be very careful. There are down trees, there are down power lines, so just be careful. Do not touch those down power lines.
You know, I want to show you just how much rain has fallen. And we've had a lot. The heaviest has definitely been for our most southern counties. So from Baxley down to Waycross over to Brunswick, easily. Some spots picked up as much as 10 inches of rain, and that's what we were calling for. Isolated amounts up to 10, most areas 4 to 8. And then if you look here all the way into the low country where you pick out the pinks and the purple, that's where we had rainfall totals of 6 to 8 inches of rain.
I want to go to the iPad now and show you a video that we received from Alan Byrne. He is in the Back River area of Tybee Island. He shot this video a short time ago. So this is Chatham and 14th, so not too far from AJ's Dockside, the restaurant that we reported some flooding there. He said, I mean, there is a storm drain under there somewhere, but it's really not able to function as a storm drain right now. I want to let you know that some power lines, some trees are down in Southside Savannah. That's kind of what's happening out there right now. We have some video from Martin Staunton and our photographer Shantez Harrington. This is what they found a couple hours ago. They show trees leaning on power lines, some down in the road there. Now we want to show you another picture. If we could take the iPad image, if it's still connected to the server there. And Tina's got some information about this.
Yes, this is another sign of how dangerous the storm is. This picture coming from WSAV's Holly Bounds. And Holly tells us that a Beaufort woman is thankful she escaped a falling tree. Just look at this picture.
Right
my
through
goodness.
the ceiling.
Yes, she escaped just in time. She lives in the Mossy Oaks area, and she was just sitting on her couch when she heard a crack, and she ran quickly to the kitchen to avoid injury. My goodness, thankfully she's okay.
That's an extremely close call.
It absolutely is.
Wow. Well, high tides has caused some flooding in historic Pinpoint.
Yes, a flood of water made its way into the Pinpoint Museum. Look at that water. Neighbors in the surrounding houses watched as the Skidaway River reached levels that they say they've never seen before. You can see it at least 4 houses with water flooding yards and driveways. At the time we were there, it was high tide and that water still rushing in.
It is going to take a while for that water to recede. And the reason why is we haven't seen the winds shift just yet. So at the moment, the prediction was 4 to 6 feet, and that's exactly what happened all up and down the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. Now what we have to wait on, at the moment, winds are out of the east-southeast. So what those winds do, it picks up the water and it pushes it inland. And that's what's happening at the moment. So the latest right now in Savannah, you see how it's got that arrow right there? That means the winds are out of the southeast, pushing to the northwest at around 23 miles per hour. So it's taking that water and it's pushing it inland. And we still have easterly winds over part of Beaufort and Hilton Head, so the water's coming right in from the east and pushing to the west. That's why if you're sitting there at home and you're not seeing the water back off yet, it's going to take a little while. We're waiting for those winds to finally shift to the south, and that's going to take a few hours. That is later tonight.
Well, this has been quite a day and quite a weather event, and at least here on River Street, a few hours has made a lot of difference. I don't know if you remember or not, but a couple of hours ago, the water I showed you was coming up here, filling this entire area. As you can see, it's all receded now. There's probably 2 to 3 feet of water here at one time. That was, you know, the combination of high tide and the surge. Now you can just see all of the debris that the water has left behind here.